Hello everyone, welcome to this week's zone review. This week we're going to be going over one of my favorite zones, and hopefully yours too, the Barrens. Now the Barrens is a vast savanna in the center of Kalimdor, mostly controlled by the Horde, but the Alliance do have some key quests there as well. Long ago the Barrens was home to a lot of Kaldorized cities, but now that they're gone, it is currently occupied by a lot of cruel boars, centaurs, and a whole lot of hyenas. Although the Barrens is home to a lot of hostile enemies and harsh environments, it is the central hub to a lot of activity in World of Warcraft. In particular, the Barrens is home to the Gold Road, which connects Ashenvale all the way down to Thousand Needles. The reason why it is called the Gold Road is because it is rumored that it is used to transport goods and services all the way throughout all of Kalimdor. Gold, gear, equipment, all the things. So, obviously, a lot of adventurers like to go onto the Gold Road and try to find their way in the world. The Barrens is one of the largest zones in the World of Warcraft. Traveling from Morshan Rampart in Ashenvale all the way down to the Great Lift in Thousand Needles can be daunting for any player. Even if you do have a mount, it's still a long trip. It also boasts the widest level range in any zone, 15 levels. This sprawling savanna serves as a bustling secondary zone for Horde players, especially Tauren, Orcs, and Trolls, and it often draws undead players between levels 10 to 25. With 3 instances and multiple travel hubs, the Barrens is a busy crossroads for players of all levels. The infamous Barrens chat emerged here, known for its off-topic discussion and humor. These days, though, most of the chat has migrated to trade chat in capital cities. But back in the day, this was the perfect place for you to work on your Chuck Norris stand-up routine. For the adventurous, the Barrens has its share of secrets and dangers. In the south near Camp Tarajo, a band of Mounted Alliance outrunners patrols the area. Defeating them rewards the scroll that begins the Horde quest, the Rune Scroll. Additionally, the Crossroads often becomes a hotspot for Alliance raids, serving as a strategic meeting point for larger assaults on Orgrimmar. While the Barrens is rumored to be home to Black Dragonkin, no dragons actually appear in the zone in-game. Now, if you subscribe to this channel, you will have a 10% chance of increased survival while going through the Barrens on your next hardcore playthrough. Now, this is based on a skill leveling tree. So, let's say you have 0 skill, 0 times 10% is still 0. So, good luck on that. The Barrens is quite unique because it has 3 instances throughout the zone. We have the Wailing Caverns, Razorfin Crawl, and Razorfin Downs. Now let's go ahead and break those down a little bit. Located in the northern Barrens, near the lush oasis, Wailing Caverns is an important early dungeon for most players. While it's not the first dungeon available to the Horde characters, it's often the first place where players obtain blue quality items, maybe making it a memorable rite of passage. However, the Wailing Caverns is notoriously maze-like and can feel tedious to complete. Many players agree it's the best experience only once or twice. Don't keep going back over there. Now, the only reason why I would say maybe do it twice is because of that Deviant Hide skill quest. You can get a 10-slot bag. For hardcore players, that's pretty good, very unique, and will last you quite a while. Especially if you're running self-found, that's a great quest to make sure you complete. Now, the second instance in the area is Razorfin Crawl. Found in the south close to the Great Lift, Razorfin Crawl is a mid-level dungeon filled with quillboar and their eerie thorn-covered lairs. This instance dives deeper into the lore of the quillboar, revealing their devotion to the demonic boar deity Aghaman. The dungeon provides players with awesome loot such as the Corpse Maker and also dives them into the cult-like culture of the quillboar. Then finally we have Razorfin Downs. A short trek away from Razorfin Crawl, Razorfin Downs is the harder dungeon of the two. The dungeon is overrun with undead and dominated by the Scourge, with the Lich Amanir, the Coldbringer, serving as its final boss. Razorfin Downs serves as a stark contrast to the Crawl, showcasing the corruption of the Quillboar lands by necromancing forces. For Horde players, it's critical for progressing through the mid-30s and acquiring key loot. Now we can kind of talk about the rest of the Barrens, which it brings me to a crossroads in discussion. Specifically, we're going to be talking about the crossroads in the Barrens. The Barrens is the epicenter of activity in central Kalimdor, and it's no surprise when you see how many zones connect to it. The north, you have the forests of Ashenvale. The east lies Durotar, the Horde's starting zone. Stone Talon Mountains border the Barrens to the west, along with Nulgor. And then Thousand Needles stretches to the south. It's a literal hub of activity, with trade routes, pathways leading in every direction. At the center of it all, we have the Crossroads, the epitome of navigation. Wherever road you go, adventure will follow. This bustling little town is the glue holding the Barrens together. If Crossroads were neutral territory, it would probably be the tourist capital of Kalimdor, like Goldshire. But unfortunately for the Alliance, it's horde control. That makes it less of a family-friendly gathering spot and more of a don't linger unless you want to axe to the back kind of place. Speaking of Goldshire, Crossroads is kind of like the Horde's version of Goldshire, except for with less of the debauchery and stuff that might be known at Goldshire. It's where you'll find adventures of all kinds, some just passing through, others looking to trade, and many forming friendships or rivalries that last a lifetime. Whether it's players grouping up for Wailing Caverns, or organizing a defense against an Alliance raid, or working on their Chuck Norris stand-up routine, this is where it all happens. Now I want to talk about some of the hidden gems in the Barrens. One of them being the armor, the leather and cloth goblins found close to Stone Talon Mountains. These two goblins are useful for most self-found players because they have some leather and cloth armor pieces that maybe you're having a hard time replacing, bracers, belts, stuff like that, and they're a good way for you to stop, get repairs and all that stuff, sell your junk, and it's a fairly convenient spot if you're already out and adventuring and you don't want to walk all the way back to the Crossroads. The next gem I want to talk about is the hidden hyena, the hyena that's in the ground in the mountain. Now, I'm not sure if it was a cruel joke that the programmers did, or why that hyena is there, or if he got punished or something along those lines. But every time I've played Classic, there's always been a hyena in this exact spot, and it's just, for some reason, when I always seem to run into it, I need to go get a drink or something along those lines. I try to park my character there, and then I get nipped by a hyena. And I'm like, okay, why is this guy here? Why? And I can't even kill him. I can't do anything about it. I can't save him. He's just in the ground. And due to the Z-axis attack, he can hit me from wherever he is in the middle of hell. Now, the third thing that you kind of want to look out for while you're in the Barrens is the Deviant Delight recipe. This recipe allows you to turn into a ninja or a pirate. Now, me personally, I prefer the pirate. Pirates are better. They got ships, parrots, and the audacity to drink rum at 9 a.m. What do ninjas have? Stealth, honor, what point is that? What are you going to sneak by a pirate's cannon? No, I don't think so. You're going to get blasted away. So there you have it, the Barrens, a zone filled with a lot of adventure levels and a whole lot of sand, and you're going to be there for a while. So you might as well enjoy it. Just bask in the sun. Don't die to hyenas. Now, you might have noticed I didn't talk much about Chuck Norris, and there's a good reason for it. If you talk too much about Chuck Norris, he'll show up, and I don't want that. We don't want Chuck Norris to be in this room. I better stop saying his name, or else something's going to happen here. So that kind of brings us to the end of this video. Now, I'm not sure exactly what we're going to be doing for next week, and that's where I need your guys' assistance. What kind of zones do you want to see me talk about, or what zones are you interested in talking about? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, share with your friends, and let's make something great here.